Jim Montgomery has nearly made the perfect lineup changes ahead of tonight's game against the Florida Panthers heading into the playoffs. One more lineup change could definitely set this team on a perfect trajectory towards a possible Stanley Cup run. We're also going to be talking about tonight's game especially, a very important one for multiple aspects of the Boston Bruins season, as well as a brutal injury to the top prospect, Fabian Lysell, who is going to be out on quote-unquote long-term. But before we get into all of this video, we notice that 95% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. So if you're looking for a spot to get all of your Boston Bruins news, as soon as it happens, stay up to date with everything about this team, you're in the right spot. Make sure to hit the sub button, join me along on this journey as we cover this team heading into hopefully what could be a deep playoff run. But like I said, let's get straight into this one. This is almost perfect. Jim Montgomery has nearly made the perfect lineup change, like I said, ahead of tonight's game against the Florida Panthers. After trying out a few different things, seeing that didn't work, there's a lineup change that he made that seems like it could be the one, with a few minor changes that I and a lot of other Bruins fans would make. This is what Jim Montgomery had to say after practice this morning. He said the lineup changes for their game against the Panthers: Beecher is in, JVR is out, Wotherspoon is in, and Lohrei is out. And then we have Sweeney in the net. Now, one change I would make here is Mason Lohrei. He needs to be in this lineup. He's been incredible for the Bruins this season, and he's looked like a solid player that could potentially be on this team for the long run. One other move, JVR, I do believe he looks injured or is ill or something along the lines of that. I don't think it's a lineup issue to take him out. I think it's something along with him that needs to be just holding on to the lineup for, either this game or the next few games. But I'm going to pull up the whole lineup here from what we've seen from the morning skate. This is what I am concerned a bit with here. I think that Mason Lohrei should be in. He has to be in at some point, whether it's over Lindholm, whether it's over Coyle, Kevin Shattenkirk. I think Mason Lohrei needs to find a spot in this lineup. Him and Parker Wotherspoon, two of the young guys on this defense. I've mentioned it a lot since the beginning of this channel, since the trade deadline. These two guys are very, very good, and they've had a big learning curve going straight up in this season. They've shown that they're really ready to compete at the top level on this Bruins team with some of the top talent across the NHL. And I think even though they are, very young and very, lower ranking of veteranship, I guess you could say, on this team, they would certainly help this Bruins playoff runs compared to a guy like Kevin Shattenkirk, maybe Brandon Carlo if he don't start using his size, and Hampus Lindholm if he can't find his game back. But, like I said in last video, those defensive pairings of Carlo and Lindholm, something needs to happen there. Something needs to be changed around, whether it's they both stay in the lineup, you give them a new partner. I don't care what it is. Something needs to change. And if we don't see that by the end of the regular season or in these upcoming games, I think that, the Bruins could be in a bad spot on that side of defense when those guys are on the ice together. Something might not work, something might not click, and something could go wrong. That's exactly what you don't want to happen come playoff time. But Mason Lohrei, the next part that needs to go in, Parker Wotherspoon, is perfect. One other thing I wanted to mention, this fourth line is fantastic. I definitely do think Lauko could get moved to the fourth line, but these guys on the fourth line have been playing very well together, and I think that keeping them together, even though they've been playing better than some players, is the perfect move for them right now. So, once again, the Bruins have still a few games before the playoffs come and before the playoff action gets ready, but they still need to prepare in advance, and I think that this is in the right trajectory for a lineup that they would want in the playoffs. I definitely think they could use either Wotherspoon and Lohrei both at the same time, or maybe swap them out game for game, or whoever's playing better at the moment. Same thing with the goaltending. So that's one thing to keep an eye on over these next few games come the postseason. But this lineup, to me, looks like it should do numbers. So we're going to be talking about this game tonight later on here in this video. But right now, I also wanted to touch on the top prospect, Fabian Lysell, injured for what could be a pretty long time, unfortunately. This came out in an article from, I can't remember, the New England Hockey Journal there at the bottom. The Providence Bruins forward Fabian Lysell suffered an upper body injury crashing into the boards Saturday's 3-2 loss against Charlotte. 21-year-old winger appeared to lose an edge right before the collision. The former 21st overall pick eventually needed help off the ice. Then here at the bottom is the main part of this, is he's going to miss probably significant time, which is very, very tough for Providence and Boston. It's disappointing. He was starting to play really well as well, what they've said here. But, a main issue, Fabian Lysell, the top prospect, something the Bruins don't have too many top prospects, too many highly touted prospects. And you don't want any of these guys to get hurt, especially whether it's in Providence, college, junior, or the NHL. That's one thing that you really don't want as a Bruins fan. But, this is not going to affect the Boston Bruins this season. That's one thing that at least it's a positive to come from it. But even though he's been playing super well, you got to assume that he would probably, most likely, crack the lineup next season, especially with what he's doing in Providence this year. Last year was a very good showing of what he could really do in Providence. 37 points in 54 games as a rookie there. And now getting 50 points in 56 games. Nearly point per game in Providence. Really shows that he's taking a major step up and is soon going to be cracking this lineup, which is something that a lot of people are excited for, including me. I'm really excited to see what Fabian Lysell can do in this NHL game, from what he's been doing in junior to the AHL and now hopefully soon to the AHL. So, I think that they should let him rest, sit him down for the rest of the season if he's going to miss significant time. I don't really think it's worth risking bringing him back in any situation come playoff time. I want to see him healed up for this entire offseason. At this point in the season, how close we are to the end of it, I think that's the better option, just to let him fully heal up and be 100% ahead of next season. But, once again, another little thing to watch, just in case he does come back and skating in practice or whatnot. You want him to be fully healthy come next season, at the least. So, something to keep an eye on once again. But now, let's get to it. Let's get to the game tonight. The game against the Panthers is going to be a very crucial one. Now, there's a lot of stuff coming from this one, whether it's, a playoff clinching, whether it's the top of the Atlantic. There's a whole bunch of stuff here that is going to be very important, come tomorrow, at the end of this game. I'll pull it up here from Mike Sullivan. He said, "Wake up, Bruins fans. It's game day in Sunrise. Florida and Boston are tied atop the Atlantic with 97 points. To say that this one will be a big one would be an understatement. Drop your final score predictions below." But, this is something that, like I said, it's going to be huge. This is a very, very crucial game. Top of the Atlantic, as well as a clinching opportunity for the playoffs tonight. If the Bruins win and the Red Wings lose in regulation, the Bruins are into the playoffs, which is another big milestone for the Bruins again this season. Being atop the league for majority of the year, top the Atlantic for majority of the year, this is going to be a big boost of energy. If this team can clinch tonight, if they can win this game against Florida, top of the Atlantic, the playoff spot, the team that is underrated, I guess you could say, but has been struggling as of late, making the playoffs after many people thinking that they might not even be close this season. This should be a really big energy booster if they do win this game heading to the playoffs, and hopefully will give this team a nice boost heading into the rest of the regular season as well. They've been on a bit of a skid lately, haven't been able to find the back of the net too much, haven't been able to pull out very many wins, but I hope tonight they've recognized what the issue is. Jim Montgomery in practice yesterday said to the media and mentioned to the team that they are not ready to go to the playoffs. So I think that should light a fire under them, and I think we're going to see it tonight. A very, very heavy, hard-hitting, skilled Bruins team come out and attempt to get a very big win against the Florida Panthers. So if you want to stay up to date with this, see what happens tomorrow from this game and the results of it, make sure to hit the sub button. I will keep you guys updated on everything that the Bruins have over these next few games, heading into the playoffs and beyond that. So if you wanted to hit the sub button, like I said, make sure to do so. You won't miss out on any of the news. But that's all I got for this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to give the video a like. Let me know you're enjoying the content, keeping the Bruins updated, and, just everything about the Bruins. It's a very fun ride so far, and it's only going to get a bit more nerve-wracking heading to the playoffs. But like I said, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.